God bless you, Global Christian friends. We love you and God bless the American public and people. We talked about great multitudes that were erroneous as those are today about the kingdom of heaven teaching from today's pulpit. Pastors may feel some heat on such a hot subject as the kingdom of heaven. The question is, out there, pastors, are you teaching the flock right about the subject according to Jesus and the Old Testament? Are your flock doomed before they leave the world? In Matthew 24:35, Jesus said, "Heaven and earth shall pass away." Is this the heaven you teach your flock to want and to desire to attain? If so, they're doomed before they leave the world according to Jesus. The sixth and last parable of the chapter, Matthew 13:47-48. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea. We'll get into this shortly. And gathered very kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. Now, Jesus would rightly explain this parable right out. But take note of its explanation in Matthew 13:49 and 50. Is not the parable to this last parable in similitude found in Matthew 22, verses 9 and 10? In the last parable of the kingdom of heaven, mercy is displayed at, not in, according to Matthew 13 and 40, the end of the world. Matthew 13:49. In the end of this world. Matthew 13:40. At the end of the world. Matthew 13 and 49. In the parable of Matthew 22, 9 and 10, not mercy, but courtesy is shown. And at the end of the world, there shall be a transfer into the end of this world for a final judgment. The angel shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Matthew 13:49 and 50. Now, if you are not a scribe inscribed unto the kingdom of heaven, I didn't say ascribe unto the earth, but unto the kingdom of heaven, you cannot bring forth out of what Moses called God's good treasure in Deuteronomy 28 and 12. And that is the heaven, things new and old. Jesus would ask the apostles in 13:51, have you understood all these things? They said unto him, yea, Lord. When he had finished these things, he departed. Now we will come over into the scriptures. And blessed be the Lord. We Matthew 13, and we'll begin at verse 41. Come on down. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them that do iniquity, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. We explain verse 43, then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. And Jesus said, who had ears to hear, let him hear. And we do have ears to hear, and we do hear. And we teach what we hear. And if you have ears to hear, listen to what is being taught. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hid in the field. We talked about this, which when a man had found, hide it, and for joy thereof anon goeth and selleth all that he had, and buys the field. And look at the one in verse 45, 13:45, another version here in 13 and 45. He says there, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearl, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Here we go again, the last one, in 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind. That's the end of the world. Which, when it was full through mercy, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels. Think about that statement. But cast the bad away. That's the way you ought to do. Cast away all the bad stuff. Stuff that's not doing you no good. Verse 49. Here's the explanation. So shall it be at, not in, but at the end of the world. A big difference in the end of the world and at the end of the world. Here it says at the end of the world, but in the end of this world. Reading further, the angel shall come forth and sever the wicked from the just. And that we love the just. We love the just. We have reason for loving the just. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. And now we see what Jesus said unto them. Have you understood these things, all these things? Yeah, Lord. Now, we said in verse 52, therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven, not earth, is like unto a man that is an householder which bringeth forth out of God's treasure things new and old. And God's not going to allow you to come into his treasure if you're not right, if you're not ready. You can't go there. You're not going to reveal nothing to you. And we thank and pray the Lord he's not going to do that. And it came to pass when Jesus finished these things, he departed. And we will depart at this point. And time is the next time. Global Christian friends, we love you. Amen.